Okay, buddy, I'm just gonna go leave because I don't want to talk to Iris. But we go ahead. Please don't play the music at least. Like a high. This Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to the little waggy. It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are empty as the hearts of the muses. What a cutie. Miss Natsumi had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan. I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could. Pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passages are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Why? Yes, he really is. Oh, yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you notice? You're observant, Runo. Look, I use this. It's my latest... I'm just gonna ignore it. It's my latest invention. What is this? I call it the cat flepomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right, it can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can't do any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's pretty powerful, you see? Would it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap? No, you see, Ryunosuke, they had to make it this way specifically because it's about to be used in a murder case. Wow, holy shit, it actually might be. I made that as a joke, but now that I'm thinking about it, that might 100% be true. They steal it, they like get it in somehow, or they use it on a door and then they get into a place and then they leave. But it just looks like a cat door. Interesting. Or we're gonna like pull out a thing and it's like something, we're gonna move something and there's gonna be a cat flap behind it and we're gonna be like, how did it get there? And then the last trial segment is literally Iris is gonna bust in with it and it's gonna be like, this is how they did it, and we're like, oh my god, it was Iris the whole time. I don't know. What happened? Yeah. Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. My voice is going out already. Oh no. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. At least her music stopped playing. My bad. Oh my god. Oh, what was that? Waga high? Yo, the cat going off? Yo. What was that? Oh no! Waga high's tangled up in your violin! I think he thinks it's a toy. No! What's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mrs. Shom's precious violin. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I, now. The Shums really isn't in the spirit, is he? Well, anyways, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley? Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. The fuck? Why do we gotta look at the violin? Is this about to... Well, this is the violin, is it? It's a what the fuck? A Stradivarius? One of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian lutherer Antonio Stradivari. Very, my God, what a man. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you, with a you. And until today, it had been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music to tolerate this blunt experience? No, there is none. Mr. Shums? What, dear madame, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with the fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? Hmm? What do you mean, Miss Suzuto? Oh, Susie's right! Yes! The tone of the wood is completely different! Oh my God, our violin was stolen! That's not all, I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? Mr. Sholmes, are you alright? You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, is this piece of stringled flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what happened if we ask her. Someone fucking kill me. What do you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this violin, sorry, this viola, I mean, was at a Winnie Bang until last week. At the Pawnbrokers. That Mr. Shum's beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East, which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. You send your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers and hope that it would experience personal growth? Oh, what a wonderful idea. Last week, I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. Oh, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Psh, and fine state of affairs this is, and what I always say, Mr. Naruhodo-san. Never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fill you with its own. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Aye, take it all back. Society is back. Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Dilly-dally will get you nowhere. Sorry. Crunching your toast with a vacant aspect. Pressing your coffee so obtusely. Ooh, wait, ha! Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency in which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windybank's bakery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mrs. Suzuto. Without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your eggs not even more obtusely. Alright, say no more. Let's just go then. Don't worry, Bruno. I'll be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thanks, Iris. As if it happens, I'm rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker looks like. Am I talking about wanting to die while he just revert back? Bustling London Street, on which can be found Mr. Shalom's office and Windybank's pawnbroker. There's a large park nearby too. What a bustling place! Oh, London is such a fantastic city. Let's go to Baker Street first. Okay, I take it back. Pawnbroker shop on Baker Street. Mr. Shalom's is a regular, it seems. A British pawnbroker shop? How fascinating. This guy used to be named like Mortar and Pestle, like straight up. Or was his name actually Pawnbroker? I don't remember. The fan translation wasn't that good. I ain't taking it back. April 15th, Windybank's Pawnbrokery. Take a sip of water. Yeah. So this, the British Pawnbrokery. Oh my, there's all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I never laid eyes on before. Ah, Suzo-san, and the spark of wonder in your eyes. Can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? Get the impression you enjoy places like this? Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. Clearly, Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, sir, welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Yeah, we were potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. Hello, sir. We have a problem. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different, and it has holes in it. It's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so sorry, sir. How utterly unforgiving of me. I'm an inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. Oh my god. I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Yeah? I was used to Mr. Sholmes who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is. You did? And when I turned to confront you, you had taken the violin and viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly in my own doors for allowing you to leave. I shall not grumble or gross any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Oh. It appears that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition participated in this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition, would you? Aha, I do believe you may be right, sir. Neither laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I wouldn't need to remind you of the peculiar collection of items you brought through my door in the past. Oh? Peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, an unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes or such. Oh my, a new fully fledged novel? An unpublished? A story I've yet to read, you mean? Ah, forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I must know more, tell me everything. Wow, Susan is really fired up now. There's really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. It houses something of great value, indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And how is that? And such Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of unworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mrs. Sholmes, is this really true? I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. Our chef and shout with me, I assure you, on my life. It's all very strange. I wonder, can I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the town is somewhat dull. Sorry? Aha! For your splendid attire, ma'am. 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic, Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. I feel as though I'm suffered some sort of defeat here. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. That's sure indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I appease their items and offer them a proportional loan in 2 months of secure stowage. And if in that time they repay the original sum plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. What happens if they don't pay you the money? Then it goes onto the shelf where people can buy it. And the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months have passed then? That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. The customer precious belongings be lost. The only recompense is for me to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually. This is the man who's telling us that it was a good day to die only this morning. And let us not forget that I have already helped you to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the red-handed recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 below the ceiling. I can see what happens to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Can you? Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. Am I dumb? I don't... In a very 30-minute precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you. Would we literally... Ah, yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop's counter. Developed a special type of film, so sensitivity produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really? That's Extraordinary. Fucking black magic, is what I would say. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity will be summarily exposed. But did you not say that the... Wait a minute, this is also going to be a part of the murder. Wait, I'm like regaling... I know the murder happens, so I'm like... All this information is now being useful. You not say that the photographic print were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you said, my dear madam. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times? One could say that would be a cruel twist of fate. Ugh. I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Winnybake? Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. The cost of the film, sir. I must graciously place not one, but 2 cameras in my shop after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security comes at a price. Oh, heavens help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, let me return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winnybake. Perhaps this might mark the end of this particular items you try to pop, huh? As if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. You're not. Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. In any event, Mr. Winnybake, it's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Chubbs. So, Mr. Naruhodo. Then now we can explore last. Do we have to? Do we have to? Okay. Alright, right, left to right. Investigating thoroughly, but we can't find anything out of place. What? Go down 2 centimeters, my bad. Seems to be a little door in and behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Winnybake keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. There's nothing of peculiar interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activities. Recommend or not, it's something I tend to do. There is but one key, and Mr. Winnybake keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it in a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder. The prime suspect of this pawnbroker is ever burgled. Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Look at the fucking revolver. Mr. Winnybake is nothing, if nothing else, very particular about the recording of the item he accepts. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself in all sorts of trouble. Might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. Revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. Huh? I assure you, Mr. Winnybake would not hesitate to draw that weapon with the speed belaying his portly sights. Oh, you don't mean he'd blow his brains out? Indeed, and recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. Why would you even suggest it? Look at this! Look at this! Look at this lovely big shiny box bee! That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such a thing in your own country? Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, what a sublime sound. Like the music of angels. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen of any is of the larger variety commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside of which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine. Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently in the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. What an assortment of things there are on the shelf here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does this really mean though? When you pawn or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores that item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Ah yes, now you explained it. I'm noticing little prices tags and everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. A treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. I know what the important thing is, so I'm not going to look at it until... Because then there's going to be a super long I remember the long explanation. It's not a calendar you can easily miss, is it? April 15th. Wow, like my mind automatically read that text. Today's the date. Yeah, yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. There's an Eastern style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. A perfect calendar for a tear-away fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windybank. And who was it that walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Oh, with the agreed storage. But when the agreed storage period is passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. We'll have to keep a close eye on the date. Something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Look at this. Whatever could you be used for? No idea. There is a small catch here, look. We're gonna open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing! Some sort of spring-loaded mechanism. Which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something really similar to this elsewhere. I wonder what this very obvious sign of foreshadowing could be. 8 globes of gold, is that some sort of charm? Dear me, have you not seen this sign before? No, never. The 3 golden balls are, in Great Britain, at least, the universal sign of a pawnbrokery. There are more than 700 such establishments in the capital, all showing this same sign. Oh, I see. I am not even imagining your ignorance was so profound. Oh, well, what is the significance of the 3 golden balls then? Does it have some special meaning? Oh, we got them right here. Is that is entirely unimportant here, dear madam. Irrelevant, even. You mean you don't know? You mean... Okay, I remember this explanation. I remember this, so I'm gonna take a long drip of water before they... Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have little windows for looking through. Ooh, haha! Allow me to enlighten you, my dear Phillips. What are you looking for is a stereoscope. A stereoscope. Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I shall be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright, that was... I think that was like the explanation, like in the thing, and I think in the 3DS it was like, just turn on the 3DS, bro. It was like, turn on the 3D.